Abuja.
Now listen.
News on the hour, 7 a.m., 8 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m., and 11 a.m., 1 p.m., 2 p.m., 3 p.m., and 5 p.m. News at noon, 12 noon. News from across the states, 4 p.m. And our major news at 6 p.m. Citizen FM 93.7. Always precise in news broadcast.
This is 93.7 Citizen FM Abuja.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Citizen FM News at noon. I am Lawrence Omoite. The federal government has approved 5 billion naira for each state and the federal capital territory to enable them to procure food items for distribution to the poor in their respective states. Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno State disclosed this at the presidential villa in Abuja shortly after the National Economic Council meeting. The development comes in the wake of hike in cost of food items and petroleum products owing to the removal of subsidy of the commodity. In addition to the fund, Zulum said the federal government also released 5 trucks of rice each to the 36 state governors. Explaining further, he said the state governors are to procure 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize, and fertilizers.
Of Nigeria has released 5 trucks of rice to each state last week. Furthermore, in order to cushion the effect of food shortages across the country, the federal government has approved the sum of 5 billion naira to be given to each state for the procurement of 100,000 bags of rice, 40,000 bags of maize, and
he also noted that 52% of the funds were given to the state government as grants, while 48% as loans.
2% of this money is given to states as grants, while 48% of the 5 billion naira is to be paid back on an installment basis within a period of 2 years, 20 months to the CBN by the states and the local government areas.
President Bola Tinubu has called on Nigerians to be patient with his administration in the wake of the fuel subsidy removal, saying the move is in the country's best interest. He spoke in Abuja during the public presentation of the autobiography of an elder statesman, Edwin Clark. The Nigerian leader was represented at the event by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume. Said efforts are being made to cushion the impact of the subsidy removal.
Through a difficult phase in the history of this country. But these pains are pains of birth of a new nation. And that if we want to celebrate a child, a baby, then the mother must go through some pains. But at the end of the day, there is joy, there is merriment when the baby arrives. And we will certainly be there. Solutions to problems can never be as instant as coffee, but we must certainly be there.
Former Nigerian head of state General Yakubu Gowon, who was the chairman of the occasion, expressed joy that the book presentation on Clark attracted prominent Nigerians who undoubtedly are the country's political, traditional, and economic leaders.
I am hopeful that the younger generations will be better informed on our experiences, which has brought the country to what it is today, on which our President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who would have been here with us, represent the center of our common aspirations of peace, unity, and progress.
Former President Goodluck Jonathan said Chief Edwin Clark believes in the unity of Nigeria, and he demonstrated it in his book personally, written by him.
I didn't meet Ike Clark until I became a deputy governor of Bayelsa State. Can't remember exactly the date. But then my governor traveled out of the country, and there was a problem within the Niger Delta. And Ike Clark was to come to Yenagoa, where I had a meeting with others. That was the first time we interacted. And when I listened to him, I saw a person whose vision was for Nigeria, whose vision was for the security of this country, whose vision was for the unity of this country.
The scheduled arraignment of the suspended Central Bank of Nigeria Governor Godwin Emefiele on Thursday at an Abuja High Court was stalled. Emefiele, who was brought to court in the morning, could not be arraigned because of the absence of the second defendant, a director of CBN and contractor of the Apex Bank.
This morning, but two things played out, which clearly showed that the complainant itself was not ready for the arraignment. The second defendant was not made available. The second defendant was not in court, and it is right that all the defendants in the charge must be present to take their plea, and consequently, the complainant on its own requested for an adjournment for the arraignment to be done at a later date.
And for some foreign stories now, an alliance of 7 political parties in South Africa has signed a pact in a bid to unseat the governing African National Congress in the 2024 election. The multi-party charter for South Africa said if they came to power, they would work together and allocate ministerial positions and parliamentary seats. In Kenya, a man who said he was protesting against the high cost of living set himself on fire in the coastal city of Mombasa. He climbed on top of a statue in the middle of a busy roundabout before setting himself alight. In a video that has since gone viral, the man is seen holding the Kenyan flag, and then he shouts, and in a moment a huge flame engulfs him. And in sports, some good news. The Athletics Integrity Unit has cleared Toby Amoson to compete at the 2023 World Athletics Championships, which begins on Saturday in Budapest. In a statement from the AIU, the body lifted the suspension placed on her last month for whereabout failures. Recall, the 26-year-old athlete faced charges of 3 whereabout failures, which constitute an anti-doping rule violation for missing 3 out-of-competition tests within a 12-month period. Amoson had contested this charge. And still on sport, FIFA President Gianni Infantino says women who pick the right fights can convince men that the men have a lot to do to bring progress in women's football. The month-long Women's World Cup concludes on Sunday when England face Spain in the final at the Australian Stadium. Speaking in Sydney, Infantino said women must push the door to inequality. And that's the Citizen FM News at noon. I am Lawrence Umoite. Good afternoon.